Thank you very much. I hope you are enjoying the whole event. Especially, I want to mention that the previous session was great. I really appreciated people share topics related to accessibility. That's one of the topics I like the most because I think it's very important to think in the users, in the whole users. So, well, my session is not connected to this, but it's a message I try to reinforce every time and think about all the difference we have in the other side. In the other side, that means in the other side of the interface, because we are developing dashboards, we are developing something with data, and there is a communication in the work, in our task, and the main thing is to communicate to the other. So our contents should be accessible, of course, and it's going to be better for everyone in the companies. So thank you very much. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Paula. You will recognize by my accent that I'm Spanish from Spain. And the fastest way to introduce myself is I'm a data lover. Um, but I'm gonna give you a little bit pieces of information about myself, just for the sake of connecting with the topic I'm developing today. Yeah, explaining and hopefully giving you some tips and advices on how to transform the way you develop and you create, you design new reports. I'm a Microsoft MVP in the platform and artificial intelligence. That is AI, no AI, but okay, I hope you understand. I'm a LinkedIn learning instructor in data visualization and artificial intelligence. My contents are in Spanish, but I'm trying to participate more and more in English communities and global communities. So, well, hopefully, if you find interesting what I say, maybe you find more contents. And well, this is my website, paulagarciaesteban.com. I have another website in English. That's one is is in English, UX4PowerBI.com. Also, I have started a TikTok account, UX for Power BI, where I'm sharing English content. So maybe you find it interesting. And of course, you can follow me on LinkedIn. As I told you or mentioned before, the idea is to share more English content. So hopefully you can learn or at least change a little bit your mindset in how you develop or design your reports. That's also me. Not me now, and of course, I'm not that girl. But time ago, I was in a workshop, in a team building session, and we were asked to develop our curriculum vitae with Lego. I hope you have played with this game when you were a child, or maybe you like it nowadays. I don't know. But the idea here was to represent your professional career and what defines you with these pieces. And at that time, I put this with well the elements I had at the time, of course. But I want to show you to you the. I'm not crazy, trust me. Just for a few minutes. Um, I'm in the middle here, and one side represents all the creativity, all the colors. There is a certain structure, but more fluid is water, flowers, colorful things, and the other side is more waiter. We have the elephant blocks, dark blocks, like very well structured, very logical. And this represents my life because I'm a telecommunications engineer. But at the same time I've been working in digital marketing during my professional career. I love music. I've been involved in different bands, indie rock groups, and yeah, music. It's a part of my life. I love creativity. I love everything connected to arts. To arts. Now I'm dancing, and my professional career is connecting these two worlds from the very beginning. And I realized that I'm still this girl. It was like 5 years ago, this photo. So I'm continuing doing that. But this doesn't mean you need to feel very creative of being very have these creativity aspects very well developed in your life, because there is a big difference between an artist and a designer. And to me, the main difference is that an artist express something and create because he or she want to express, and just for making art, there is not a reason or something they need to achieve when they are creating. They are just creating, okay? And then a designer solves a problem. And here's the key difference. When we are solving a problem, we need to have a target, a goal, procedures, things that help us to develop something that is useful for the user, for the different users we have. So when we are creating dashboards in Power BI or whichever tool you use for data visualization, you cannot say, no, I don't like to paint because I'm not good in art, blah, blah. No, I don't care. You are solving a problem. You are a designer, so don't feel you cannot do this kind of task when you are working with Power BI, okay? The problem is we usually have to solve a complex problem. And what is a complex problem? It's these are the types of problems that have so many solutions. So it's true. Sometimes we need to consider different users, different use cases. We have a lot of visuals we can choose. We have a lot of options in terms of how many pages, how we structured everything. So it's true that it's not easy, but we need to find a pattern and some steps to get this dashboard done. And in this session, we are focusing on Power BI theme, or better, design systems. Design system is much more than a Power BI theme, but first I want to tell you that a Power BI theme is much more than colors. When you access to the tool, sometimes you see this space where you can select different patterns of colors. I have a screenshot so you will see what I'm referring to, but we need to use color always with a reason. And it's true that sometimes we need to include the colors of the company, like the branding colors, etc. But we need to take care about the contrast and a lot of things, because we need to follow the best practices in data visualization. It's not just using the colors of a company, because maybe I have a soft blue, a very, very light blue, then another kind of blue, and etc. But they have not enough contrast for my purpose, that is communicating with data. I need to reinforce the numbers. I need to guarantee that my designs are going to be visible, accessible. Okay, so a design system is much more than theme, and a theme is this what you have in the menu. If you go to view, then you can choose from different themes, pre-default themes, but you can also develop your own theme with your colors, etc. But what is a design system? We need to consider fonts in terms of not only the kind of font we use, but the sizes, the difference we're going to have between the titles, the subtitles, the contextual information we add, like legends, like contextual information in general. We need to define also the structure we have. If we will have a menu, a top part with a menu, we're gonna place the filters or the slicers or everything. If we have a structure, it's gonna be better for our designs. Then we need to consider a header with primary and secondary navigation, buttons and states. That's very important, because user experience sometimes increase a lot, or better said, if we don't take care about both buttons and the states, when you over the mouse or you click or these things, people won't realize the action is going to happen. So we need to spend time creating a system that helps the user to understand where to click and highlight if I have a potential action doing something. This is something that appears in the website when we have a CTI, a call to action button, we realize if we are, I don't know, buying something in an e-commerce, we realize where to click, right? So let's do the same in our Power BI reports, because people are going to be more comfortable, but our scope is to let the user to get the information we have been developing for a lot of hours, like the model, the data cleaning, everything, the connection with the origins, the source, the data sources, etc. Then help elements, the tooltip style. We can do a lot of things, okay? So what I recommend when we are developing dashboard, of course, we need to have all this data, the model, the DAX formulas. We need to cover a lot of things before or in parallel. We're gonna talk about this later, but we can detach the conversation with the business and work in two tracks in parallel and focus. Now we are focusing only in our interface, on the thing we are sharing across a screen where people will interact with. Okay, so I would highly recommend to start from a low fee mockup. Low fee is low fidelity mockup. That means we create something that is not perfect, but it's enough to understand the structures, the things we're going to share, to validate with the business if we are covering the information they expect to see, to have a structure of where to place the clickable elements or the things we need to interact with, but differentiating where to focus our attention when we are analyzing. We have an order of elements. We have put here certain protagonism depending on the position, because when we read, we follow the F pattern. So we have developed a bit of narrative, and we can validate this with the business. We have here the KPIs, then a table, because maybe it's super relevant for them with the product, the quantity, the profit margin, whatever. Then something that talks about the percentages, then the quantity by rank, by country. Ideally, this is going to be ordered in a different way, but imagine we need to validate with the business if they really want the ranking from the top to the bottom, like the biggest, or have this conversation. And this is very, very valuable, because we are developing a narrative, highlighting the KPIs, validating that we have included everything we need. Okay, this has been created with the free plan of mockups.com. I like this way of making prototypes, because within this solution, we have these elements, and you can also modify a little bit the numbers, so, and the series and the colors, so you can create something that is not perfect but enough and connected to the real solution we're generating and providing. Okay, so when we have this, okay, imagine we have validated this with the business, like, okay, I like it, it's covering my needs. And then we can include the colors, the predefined colors, the colors that we have in our company, in our, I don't know, if you're a consultant, your own designs, because you want to deliver always in blue, I don't know, okay? But we can detach this, because this is the format, and this is the colors, the extra layer we include with the visual styling, okay? And for example, we can include the basic theme we have in Power BI. This is the by default theme. I'm sure you recognize this blue, this other blue, this orange, this purple, these titles like attached to the angles here. So it works, yeah. Telling a story about the data, and we have validated with the business that it's correct, yeah, it can be a solution. Okay, we can do better, of course. Imagine we want a minimalistic, I'm using the same colors here, a minimalistic scenario. I want to generate this shadow to reinforce that this is in another layer, so we need to focus our attention here. I have work and highlight these numbers, but at the same time using transparency to blah blah blah, doing something different. but it's exactly the same. We are communicating the same. The feeling of professionalism, the style you can like or don't like. Maybe you like this, it's better. I don't know. I'm not talking here about what's better if light or dark mode. No, but I want to show you here the idea is that you're seeing exactly the same. So you can detach the conversation of what they need to see in the dashboard and how it will look like. Okay? And that's the idea because when you standardize the format, if you use dark mode or your company colors and you have validate a design with marketing, sometimes marketing has something to say about these professional solutions we have inside the company. So you can detach and validate the content with the business and then apply your colors. Now, which colors? Light, dark mode. What is important here is you need to differentiate the structure using different shades, or in case you use black, you use gray or soft black and then harder black. Or if not here, you can use some shadows, some gray. So you can define this grid, this style. And what I recommend to create these themes, these design systems, is to have a JSON file that is the Power BI theme, but supplementary materials and style guide in case the users or the technicians get a bit lost. And I'm going to show you how to apply a design system in minutes. This is a business case. It's published in my website, so you can read how I've developed everything. But imagine we have a dashboard. It's not perfect. It's not the most beautiful dashboard you have seen in your life, but well, it's a dashboard, okay? So the first thing we need to do is to apply our app. Sorry, maybe here. 1 second. Where are you? Okay, sorry, I was in another folder. Okay, here. I apply the theme I have already prepared. It's a JSON file. And it takes a little bit, but it applies certain titles, the colors, well, bit of things. Another thing I need to do is to adapt the size of the page. In this case, we have full HD format. And we have something that is kind of better than from the thing I had before. And the idea is to have different headers, footer, standardized elements that helps me to copy and paste and align all the elements, okay? I'm gonna copy the grid that help me to align every component I have and the header, and why not also the footer. I press copy. Then I go to my dashboard, my ugly dashboard. Well, this is break, but I will explain you later why it happens and how it works. And the idea now is we complete the title, we complete the description, we have here the logo. Here maybe we don't need all these buttons, but we remove what we don't need. And then we are not seeing anymore the components and the elements that communicates, but the grid, the idea is to use it to align everything I have and find the right place for them. I'm not making this perfect because I have few minutes left, but you see the difference we can have in minutes, literally in minutes, doing this kind of things. And this is something you can develop for your company. I'm gonna tell you the steps and you can see them in the business case. Copy, move yourself, come on. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Then, what I have more? Well, here, for example, I have all the interactive buttons with the states I told you before and more things. But let's focus on the elements we have here, because I have a predefined style for showing temporal evolution in positive and negative, the ranking, the path to the whole. We have this in our this and this in our report. So I'm gonna copy this style, and because they share the JSON, it allows me to paste. And apparently, they are they are broken, but it's enough for us, because if I click and I use the format painter, I can apply it. And have you seen the labels, how they change? And also here we have this funnel. I use the format painter and take attention now. Okay, you see here, these angles have been modified. Okay, I have moved this grid. I didn't know this is before. The idea is you keep this stable, you don't touch it. Then when you have finished, you hide it and you apply the style in literally minutes. Component by component, of course, you have to spend a bit of time making your clicks, but look the difference. Okay. And well, yeah, it has been minutes, literally. So let's continue with the presentation. How to create a design system in your organization. First, analyze what you have. The corporate branding colors, and if you have some guides, or well, maybe you need to speak a little bit with marketing. Then this existing dashboard you already have, because you will identify the specific needs in terms of display, in terms of elements you need, you use them, or the kind of menus you need, the style of tooltips, a lot of things, okay? Then you need to define the theme, the Power BI theme, with the colors that contrast enough. That's very important. We cannot use the by default colors, okay? We need to elaborate a little bit, define the fonts, the resolution, the grids, the menu, the navigation, everything. Then I validate with the main users if it works or not, and then prepare the JSON file, of course. Then create additional materials, style guide with the best practices, a validation. Then I recommend to give a training on how to apply this. And finally, you need to use this for the new reports, but at the same time, use it in your previous report. So you need to review what you have before and then start applying everything. These are the iterations I might make with clients, just in case you want to replicate within your company or whatever. And it's everything explained here. You can access to it from in uxforpowerbi.com. And well, I have the testimonial, but I want to reinforce it because they have really saved time when developing new reports. And why? Because they don't spend time thinking if I put this color or not this color. Or, I mean, if you're a technician and you have a lot of things to develop, maybe you don't have to spend time thinking in a design mode. Maybe it's better to standardize and adapt and follow these rules we have already predefined, because we will develop a whole ecosystems of reports and a better business solution, because we are developing software in a way. Okay, how I consider this in an end-to-end process in our organization. I use a design thinking methodology. I have developed my own tools, or well, procedures, let's say. For example, interviews, working with archetypes, forms, focus group to emphasize with the real needs of the business, then review the technical definition, the content definition, the UI UX needs, the definition of success that help us to understand when we have finished the project, because if not, you know that users keep asking for more and more and more elements, and we end with a beautiful collage sometimes. Then we need to define user flows, layouts. Well, these are design stuff. Okay, I talk about these topics a lot, so follow me. And if you really like to understand better how is this whole methodology, then you develop in Power BI without touching the colors, just putting the elements in the order and validating the data, and then you apply this design system. And of course, technical validation, usability, and accessibility test. Because when we have these design systems, we have benefits like agility in creating new reports. I already told you, but we standardized, and that's good for us because we don't spend time thinking too much. But we reduce the learning curve for new reports. If I know that the button is green when I need to click, I will realize when I have another green button or red or blue or whatever. Okay, so it's something that helps me to identify as a user where I have to interact, focus my attention, and understand without spending a lot of effort. My effort should be talk with you and telling my needs as developer. Okay. Then it will provide you department branding, professional perception, and that's my favorite. I'm a bad person now. Avoid opinions, because one thing is feedback, but sometimes we spend time with the user in a wrong way, because sometimes the conversation should not be around if the user like blue or purple or this kind of element or the other or button or who knows. The opinion of the user, I mean, the conversation with the user is more valuable if they really validate with you the mock-up, the elements they need to read, the context they need to take action of the business, making decisions, no? Because we are helping the business with our data, their data. So don't spend time in these design approaches, in colors, in standardize it, because sometimes we can make a difference doing this, focusing the attention in the conversation with the user on the scope and the proper analysis and the understanding their workflow when they are deciding something instead of talking about colors. Well, this is the methodology I highly recommend, with 5 phases: emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, testing. The principles are divergent thinking and experimentation. We need to iterate, of course, we need to test. And I mix with these UX layers, and I'm just sharing this with you because I want to focus here. We have this conception and this arrow, and here is time, okay? And we start from the user needs and the objectives of the dashboard. Visual design is the last part. We need to work here and validated the content requirements, the functional specification, the information architecture, the interaction design. Every step is in step. So follow these rules and apply the colors at the very end, because you will spend less time. And the idea is you can follow this empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and testing, and in parallel to work in your sprints or your way to develop the model, the logic, the DAX formulas, everything. You need to spend time with the data. And in parallel, if you work and validate here the prototype, you will end faster and you will deliver faster something after the testing, of course. And then we have to iterate and learn and measure and build, because we will have new requirements, UX improvements, bugs, data quality things. Of course, life happens, and a dashboard is always a life project. So remember, you are not an artist anymore when you are developing a dashboard. You are more a designer. And well, I hope you will remember that if you have these procedures and materials, you're going to create better and faster solutions. Thank you. I have talked very fast, but I always have a lot of things to share with you. So, well, in case you are interested in these UX topics, etc., you can check the business case, the TikTok account. Here I have more English videos translated with AI, but well, it's enough, I think, for starting. And yeah, follow me. I'm Paula García Esteban, and it's gonna be a pleasure to connect. I can share with you the slides, and thank you very much.